that. And I'm sorry, you get 0 equals a number for that. A number other than 0. Get rid of that one. Let's just say 5. And then the other possibility is that they're actually on top of each other. These are called, this is infinite solutions. They're actually coinciding. And this would be 0 equals 0. So you get some problems like the following. And I won't put the, we'll come back to this one later on, but you'll get a problem like this where the answers are basically like, what's the value of K if this has infinite solutions? Okay, that's a little bit odd, a little bit kind of backwards. But if you get infinite solutions, that means you're getting down to something like 0 equals 0. And then it'll ask you, well, what's the value of K if there's no solution? And that's where you're getting it down to like 0 equals, 5 or something like that. Is that clear?
Yeah.
Okay. Now they give you numbers to try here, but let's just go through this kind of together, first one here, rather than me just saying, hey, you know what, you're on your own. So let's say K is 6. 6W plus 14 equals 6W plus 7. Is this going to be no solutions or infinite solutions?
Um, no solutions?
Yeah, and it's because when you subtract 6W from both sides, you get 14 equals 7, which is not true. This is no solution. Okay. Now let's say K is well, let me ask it differently. Is there a value of K where you get down to 0 equals 0? And not really. So um the thing is like, let's just say you're trying to make K 3. So now let me come off to the side here. 6W plus 14 equals 3W plus 7. Okay. And you subtract 3W from both sides now. And you subtract 14 from both sides. You get 3W equals minus 7. This is one solution. Okay. So there's a lot of values of K that make this one solution. Okay. But what if K is, well, we'll move on to another problem here. Okay. I think you're getting the feel for what I'm talking about here. Let's just try one. I'm gonna do something a little bit different here before I snip this in. So give me just a moment to get that up here. Okay. All right, so here is kind of a related problem here. Go ahead and take a look and see if you can come up with the answer. I'm gonna be right back with you. All right, I am back.
To be 8x plus 2b equals 2x minus 8. I mean, plus 8.
Are you, I'm sorry, are you just rewriting this or what? What do you,
In order to get rid of the denominator, I multiplied one of the sides by 2.
okay, I agree. That's a good thing to do. However, there is an alternative way to do it, but if you do that, you get 4x plus b equals 4x plus
Is it not
16.
2b?
No, because you
Oh,
yeah, need to clear out.
Oh
So
yeah.
that might change your answer. Alternatively, you could just divide, which you'd get 4x over 2 plus b over 2 equals 2x plus 8. That would be okay to do as well.
Okay, yeah, I did the first version at first, but I thought I did it wrong.
It's okay. Why don't you see if you can solve it from here? Do you see if anything
So just be D.
it would be? Yeah. All right. A couple more. So we did hit a minute on that one. I'm gonna start timing you, not because and you're doing anything wrong. It's more that I want you to get a sense for how much time these problems are taking. And it we want to shoot for about a minute. So I'll let you know if a minute has passed, if you haven't given me an answer. All right, here is another problem like this one. Go ahead and take a look at that, please.
Is it C?
So about how much time do you think that took?
45 seconds?
Yeah, pretty good. You were under a minute. That's always good. Okay. So let's take a look here. So you said 8x minus 2x. Did you try the answers or did you solve this directly?
I tried the answers. I tried C and
Oh
then I
wow, that's very aggressive. Okay. Yeah, that's right. I mean there's many ways to do it. If you actually put these numbers in for C and is that right?
oh wait, no, it'd be B, but yeah.
Okay. All right. So like you got to be careful, right? These are giving you the values of C. Not and that's an easy kind of thing to mess up here. Like an alternative way to do this is to um, move the equation around a little bit. I don't know how comfortable you are with that, but like if you can imagine subtracting x, and adding the 2x to c plus 1 to the other side, so you get 7x equals 2x times c plus 1 here. So if you just do a little rearranging on the right, 2 times c plus 1, back, you have to set the 7 equal to 2c plus 1. And then that's where you get 7 halves equals c plus 1. And then you subtract 1 and get 5 halves equals c. When they're fractions, I tend to direct solve them because they are harder to substitute. And most students on average make more mistakes with fractions, not because they're bad students, just they're just more difficult. Um, okay, I think I got a couple more of these. Yes, I do. It's okay to try the answers. Nothing wrong with that. All right, go ahead and give this one a try, please.
A?
Ready? Okay, so why is A the correct answer?
Wait, I think I did it wrong. It would be C.
Okay, why is C the correct answer?
Because when you substitute 3 in for K, it's the same equation on both sides.
So
And that's
three,
not one solution, that's infinite.
that's right. That is definitely the wrong answer. Good. And these not questions are always awkward anyway, so that yields infinite solutions there. Good. How much time do you think you took on that one?
40, 45.
Yes, yes. Yeah, I mean anything under a minute, it's kind of 1 minute is your threshold. You really don't want to take any more or less time than 1 minute, because it just works against you, for sure. So okay, a couple more of these. No, that might have been it. Okay, I got to make up more of these. These are really good, but I don't have any more. Actually, there is another one that we can do here. It's in a slightly different form. So let me just kind of talk you through this one a little bit because we haven't been looking at these very often. It says for what value of K will the system's equations have no solution? What I would recommend you do here is eliminate Y. And then I think you will see that it worked out. Do you know what I mean by that when I say eliminate Y?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Go ahead and give this one a try. This one might take you a little longer than the time. Just because it's a little bit new.
This equation, because it's asking for what system of equations has no solution, wouldn't we try to set the equations equal to each other?
Yes, and that is the same thing effectively as eliminating Y. I was trying to give
Oh,
you a
okay.
hint. I was trying to give you a hint because otherwise you can go down some really, I mean, especially because the answers aren't that nice. Um, like if it were me, I'll just show that step here because and let's stop the clock. So yeah, I mean you're at way over a minute on that. So that's where you got to say, okay, I'm either gonna guess, we'll talk about that another time, but your strategy for the test here. So minus 5kx plus 15y equals negative 20. 12x minus 15y equals 21. Now, when you add these together, I know this is awkward, but this is what's neat. You get, and you can do it in either 12x minus 5kx equals 1. So for this to have no solution, we want the left side to end up being 0. Which means that if you factor an x out, 12 minus 5k, that's the part that has to equal 0. So that means that 12 minus 5k equals 0. K equals 12 divided by 5, which is letter A.
Okay.
All
Wait, could you
right.
scroll down for a second?
Yeah, yeah, of course.
Okay, that makes sense.
All right. So we're going to switch to a new topic because we don't want to spend all our time on one topic. And, get some more coverage here. Um, One of the things that I want us to look at next, because I don't think we've looked at this, is have you seen when answer spaces are like this, where it's the letter I's, double I's, questions
Yeah.
like that? Okay. You almost always want to go to the answer space. This is not a good question for that strategy, but it's the only one I could find at the moment. Um, you're looking for like overlap. Like better one would be like I only, I and two. C would be I and three. D would be, I don't know, like two and three, for example. Okay. So the one that the letter appears the most in is the one you check first. So in our example, this one doesn't really help because one appears in all of them and two appears in all of them. So that doesn't help. But normally on a standardized test, you can learn something by testing the one that appears in most of them. So you'd first check I, and then you'd either check two or three, depending on your preference, because they appear twice. And that would hopefully ensure that you get the right answer. Okay. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, or you're like, I don't know if I remember that, it's okay. That's just a side thought. Um, okay. So we're gonna go into some statistics stuff next. I think I remember you saying, hey, I haven't had a statistics class. This is like a new direction on the test, but you need to know some of this. So let's actually look at the answers first. The mean number from Foothill High School is greater than the mean number from Valley High School. The median number is greater than the median number from Valley High School. Do you remember how to determine the mean or the average?
Yeah.
Okay. So for the median, do you remember how to find a median? Which is maybe something you haven't done in a while.
Median was the
Have you seen that before, the
middle.
middle number? Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's a little caveat here. They have to be in order.
Mhm.
Okay. So
Oh,
what I'd like you to do is find the median of each of these. Now, if they happen to be in order, like the second one, you actually already know it, but the first one is not in order.
first one's median would be 76.
Yes. And then the bottom one is
65.
65. Okay. So now could you try and answer the question, the given question?
The mean is the adding them all up and dividing, right?
And you're allowed to use a calculator.
B,
So neither are correct.
C.
So that
Both of them
no,
are.
that's what I'm at. Yeah, that's what I'm asking. So neither. Yeah. So which are correct? So the mean from foothills is definitely greater than valley. Just looking at the numbers. Um, the reason I know that, and most of these questions can be done without actually calculating, is that there's more values from foothills that are bigger than valley. Like most of them are bigger. And then the median you can calculate real quick. Okay. So these are actually both true. You've done that a couple of times. Is it just because it's early here, or are you truly choosing the wrong answer?
Hmm?
Are you truly choosing the wrong answer, or it's just early in the morning and we're not excited about math? Because you did D.
I said C.
Oh, you did CC. Okay, I'm sorry. I
Yeah.
miss I misheard. All right. I should have you put it in the chat. That's what I did with the classes. I never want, you could just hear things that are wrong. So okay.
Oh.
So mean and median, very, very important. And it's like ideal if you can kind of visually look at the data and not actually calculate it to decide those two things. Like let's take a look at a data set here together. And let's first we'll first talk about the median. Okay. The median, I'll make a little thing here for median. So when there's four numbers, there's no middle number. So it's the average of the two middle numbers. So without calculating it, which has the larger median? The one between A between these two values or B between these two values?
Uh, the second one.
Yes. So the median of the second one is larger. Now, let's do the same thing for average or the mean here. Let's see if we can do it without actually calculating it. So one of the things you can do is be like, okay, the first two are the same, so that doesn't matter. Which one's gonna have larger? So the second one, B is this one is larger, this one is larger, but then this one is larger by 1,000. So that might offset those. You see that?
Mhm.
So what I'm seeing here is like, okay, that's 1,000 different. This is 500 different in 2014. This is 500 different. For the average, they're actually the same, which is possible. Okay. And then there's one more thing that they could ask you here, which I didn't make enough room for. Let me see if I can tuck this over here to the left. Um, range. Range. Do you remember what range is from a previous lesson?
You subtract the lowest number from the highest.
Yes. So which has the largest range, A or B?
A.
Okay. Now you don't have time to calculate a bunch of statistics. So that 1 minute threshold still applies to these problems. So let's take a look at the actual question now.
Do you want me to solve all of them? Oh wait. Oh wait, sorry.
There, yeah.
Which of the following is true? E,
I didn't hear again. I'm sorry.
D,
B or D?
D.
D, yes, D. Okay. We better go to the chat and you can type it in. All right. So I would like you to do the same thing for this next data set. I want you to calculate those three things and you don't have to actually calculate them. All I care about is which is larger, because that you can see that's typically what they want here is for you to decide which is larger. Median, mean, and range.
The median is 3 for both of them.
Now it's an even number of numbers, so it's the average of the middle two.
Oh, sorry, 3.5 for both of them.
Yeah, so it is the same, but yeah.
The range for A is 5, the range for B is 3.
Okay, so you don't need to actually calculate, you just have to say which one's larger. That's typically a good one. Now mean's a little harder. You can like cancel out the ones that are the same.
B bigger.
Why is it bigger?
Because you can cancel out the 2 as well, and then it's 1, 5, 6, and 2, 4, 5.
Okay, so if you cancel those out, I like that. You can cancel the 5 out though. What about 1 and 6 and 3 and 4 though? What do they
Oh,
add up to?
it's the same.
Yeah. All right. And that's I mean that is the extent of the question, being able to do that. This is not a difficult question, but it is a question if you're not really paying attention, you can get it wrong. And I don't want you to get it wrong. I want you to get these right. So go ahead and give me the answer, please.
Standard deviation is the
Think of the range.
okay.
The ranges are different. Range and standard deviation are effectively the same for you in this part of this.
A.
Okay. All right, let's do it one more here. This one is the hardest because you want to, you really want to, um, you really want to actually calculate these, but please don't. Try to estimate as best you can. And you just care about which one is larger.
Joseph's median is bigger.
You said Joseph's median is bigger?
Yeah.
That's kind of deceptive, right? Because they're out of order.
Mm-hmm.
So is that really the right answer?
The median is bigger for
Median is bigger. So because I got confused on this too. So the largest, largest, so that's the 181 is the largest one for Samuel. This one is 193, 184, 180. So I have the median being larger for Samuel. 181 compared to 180.33.
oh,
And I know this is challenging. Like this is not an easy thing to do, but
is it
like, do you,
not?
what?
Oh yeah, sorry, I crossed out 176 of
It
181.
is so easy to do what you just did. And it's because these numbers are not in order. Now, if you really were if you really wanted to make sure you could do this, you could go to like one decimal place or something. You could just make the numbers or just cut off. That might help, you know, a little bit. I don't know. I don't really like that approach, but that might help to make the numbers more manageable. But I would consider that. How about the range? Let's look at the range next. I would do meet. Geez, I put that the wrong spot too. How about the range? Which one's got the bigger range?
Joseph has a bigger range.
Okay. All right. So the median's the tough or mean is the toughest one. Like, I mean, I think this cross out method is good. Like that one's pretty close to that one. Um, those are pretty close. Those are pretty close. And so now you're down to I mean, they're pretty close. Um, if you know, just estimating, right? Because this one's 4 lower, this one's 5 lower, like they're pretty close. And again, it's not about you actually calculating um the mean in something like this, typically. Like don't get caught up in that. And you'll see here when I actually put in the answers, which I haven't been fair to you. I've just been trying to get you to do all these calculations, but when I put the answer space up, you're going to see that the mean is not listed. So that's why we talk so much about looking at the answers. The answers talk about the range and median. So you don't actually need to calculate the mean. And you're like, why did I ask you? Well, you got to get familiar with this. So let me just scroll this, pull this up here. I don't know, maybe these numbers are useless. All right, here we go. Let's go to the chat. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. D. Okay. All right. The range of Joseph's bill is greater than the range of Samuel's bill, while the median of Joseph's bill is less than the mean. Yeah, perfect. Perfect. Yeah. Okay. Let's switch topics now. Um, we're going to talk a little bit about quadratics. So, one of the things you have to be able to do is factor, and there's a lot of types of factoring. The other thing you have to be able to do is solve. The other thing you have to be able to do is rewrite. So there's different forms. There's the factored form, there's the standard form. There is a vertex form. So you have to be able to rewrite or move between these forms here. So there's a variety of questions. There's not like one that works for everything. So uh and the quadratics really extend into what are called polynomials, which is typically like third or fourth degree polynomials. So um, that's just something to keep in mind here. All right. Let's just start with a basic one here. All right, so here's a question for you to try, just starter question here. Shouldn't be too difficult. Go ahead and take a look at that, please. Me again. Okay. All right. I'm laughing because they keep being D. So
Yeah.
let's take a look here. How did you do it? Did you tell me what you did? Did you work on on the answers? Give me some more information, please.
Um, I've whenever I've done problem like these, it's always answers like D that have always been right. But looking at it, it could have been A.
Okay. So I don't love this question because I think there's some issues with it, but if you factor out the four, you get A. But then
Yeah.
if you factor the inside part, you get B. Okay.
I
C
wasn't sure what
is
to look for.
C is sort of correct because it's if you factor a two out of this one on the right, you end up getting 2x minus 2, 2 times x plus 3. And then you can rewrite it as 4x minus 2, x plus 3. And then the last one here, well, it's kind of the same deal. If you factor two out of the first one and a two out of the second one, so they're all correct, meaning they're all equivalent. Okay, and they're actually telling you that if you read the question, saying which of the following equivalent forms? Well, they're suggesting that maybe they're all equivalent. So x-intercepts come from factored form. So A is out because A is not fully factored. C and D are out for the same reason they're not fully factored. You have to get that GCF out. So the idea here is that you can read the intercepts on part B.
Oh, okay.
All right. So what I usually like to do in these situations is give you another one like this, and I'm going to do that now here after I get where I can do that. Stalling. Okay. So this is just more of like a worksheet type question. So I want you to do this. I want you to do the full factoring on this one. Just fully factor and then give me the zeros, please. Right. I like it. -3, x plus 5, x minus 1 equals 0. Those are the factored form. What are the two zeros of this then? You can just tell me those. Yeah, I think it's just the letters that I'm struggling with.
-5 and +1.
Yes. Good. Okay. Let's look at another one here. Um, so this is kind of the same type of question where they're giving you probably all equivalent forms. Like these are probably all true. But you want the one that gives what they're looking for.
As constants or coefficients.
Just ignore that part. Oops. Not important. That's important.
So it'd be either C or D.
Now, which is in factored form?
D.
Okay. So maybe it's a good time to review. Factored form gives you the x-intercepts. What does vertex form give you?
The vertex.
Yes. And standard form, which is fairly useless, it gives you the y-intercept is probably the best thing, but it doesn't give you much else.
Okay.
All right, stalling again. Okay. All right, take a look at this problem here. It's slightly different, but kind of related to what we've been doing. Be right back with you. All right, how are you doing on this one?
I'm kind of confused on it.
Okay, give me just a moment. I'll be right back. We'll go through it.
Okay.
All right, I'm back here. So the values, uh, where is where is the function equal to 0?
Oh, 4.
At 4. So which of these corresponds to 4?
C.
There you go. That's it.
But the rest of them not relevant.
That's right.
Oh, okay.
So like 3 looks like it could be because of this. So sometimes there's a lot of distractions.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're gonna just talk through this last problem here, and we'll be done for today. Thanks for doing the earlier lesson time. Okay, which
Yeah.
of the following is an x-intercept of the graph y equals x plus 3, x minus 2? So just look at the numerator here. What are the two intercepts for that? Where do those equal 0?
Minus 3 and plus 2.
So those are the 2 points, which means that it's 1 and 2 only.
Okay.
All right, good job today. We got through three